So how do you make it so you can edit it? You can, if you have Notability, you can save it to Notability. I don't know if you can do it on your laptop. I mean, you can get Notability on your laptop, but if you don't have Notability, I don't know exactly how else you can edit it. Sorry. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples here. So our first example, we have 8x plus x squared minus 2y equals 64 minus y squared. And remember, the first step is get all the x's together and all the y's together on one side, and then everything else on the other side. So x is here. Remember, you do want to have it in order as well. So I'm going to switch those around. So I have x squared plus 8x. And then for y's, I have minus 2y. And then minus y squared is on the other side. I need to add it to the other side. So it'll become plus y squared minus 2y. And then the 64 is the only number, and it's already on the other side, so we keep it there. So there is the separation, and I'm actually going to leave room here for the x's and the y's to complete the square. So we're going to need to figure out that value there, that value there, and remember, we end up adding it to the other side. So that's the setup. Now we're going to find each of those values. So we take the middle number, in this case is 8, divide it by 2, and square it. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, 4 squared is 16. So we're adding 16, and that means we are adding 16 to the other side. And then we'll do the y's. So here we have a negative 2, divide that by 2 and square it. So that's going to give us negative 1 squared is positive 1, so plus 1. And then we have to add 1 to the other side. So from here, we will write out our perfect squares and then simplify on the other side. So this is going to give us, let me do pink, x plus 4 squared. So remember, that value there comes from just looking at the inside. We have 8 divided by 2, so that's 4. And then for the y, we have negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1, so that's a minus 1. And on this side, we have 64 plus 16 plus 1. That is going to be 81. All right, so that is the standard form. And we're going to go ahead and take it one step further now that we're together here, and we'll find the center and the radius. Because why not? Let's do it. The center is going to be these two values there. But remember, think opposite. So it's going to be negative 4, comma 1. And then the radius comes from square rooting the number that you have on the end. So the radius will be equal to 9. R is equal to 9. So from that standard form, we can then, of course, graph this if we wanted to. We don't need to, but there's the information in case we did. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm checking the group chat, or you can just unmute yourself and ask a question. or raise your hand. Remember, there's the raise your hand button. You can do that as well. Okay, we'll do another example together. You guys want to see my mug? It's the Jonas Brothers. My friend gave this to me for Christmas. It was a Secret Santa gift, so that was exciting.
So we're just trying to get the left side or whatever side has the variables to be perfect squares.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
We want it to be in this exact form. So the form that is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, equal to r squared.
Okay, perfect.
So let's do another one. We'll do number 6. So again, we want the x's and the y's together. So there's my x's. I'm going to need to add the x squared to the other side and then just have a number there. The y's are already here. So I'm just going to put them in order and leave room. And then we already have negative 263 over here. So that gets to stay there. And now we work on completing the square. So let's do purple here. 8 is in the middle. 8 divided by 2 squared is going to be 16. And then 32 is in the middle for y. 32 divided by 2 squared. That's going to be, hang on, I'm going to need a calculator here. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Times 16 is 256. And we're going to add that to the other side. Okay. So now we can complete the square. This will become x plus 4, since we have 8 divided by 2. And the y's will become y plus 16. On the other side, we have negative 263 plus 16 plus 256. So that's going to equal 9. Okay. So that is our equation that we wanted to write out. Just for fun, our center will be negative 4, comma negative 16. So we're just taking those two values in the x and the y and taking the opposite of it. So negative 4, negative 16. And then the radius is the square root of that single number on the opposite side. So r is equal to 3. Okay. Any questions? Let me know. I'm going to jump in to do one of these circle ones, just so we can see the connection, and then we'll break off and I'll let you practice on your own. So this circle here, we need to write it in the standard form, which means we need to know the center and the radius, because that's all we need to be able to plug it in. So to find each of those, I'm just going to look. We can kind of eyeball it and see that this is the center, but you can always just go ahead and calculate the distance, right? This total distance is 6. So that means that the center is going to be halfway through that diameter. So here at 3. And then same thing in the other direction here. This is going as far as +3 and -3. So it means it's a total distance of 6, which would mean that this has to be your center, right? So you have a distance of 3 in both directions. So there's the center, which is the point 0, 3. And then the radius is the measurement from that center point to just any point on the circle. And that is going to measure 3. So that's our radius. And now we're just going to plug it into the standard form. So we have x, y, and then our r is squared. So the x coordinate is 0, so this is going to be x minus 0. The y coordinate is 3, so it's y minus 3. And r is 3, so we have 3 squared. And then from there, we can just simplify it a little, clean that up, and square that. And there is our equation. Are there any questions on that? Okay, so 7 and 8, I'll let you do those on your own as well. It's very similar to what we did for number 11. It's actually a step easier because you don't actually have to figure out what the center and the radius are. For 11, we had to figure it out and then plug it in. Here, they're already giving you what the center and the radius is. So all you have to do is just plug it in the same way that we plugged in to the standard form right there. All right. Any questions?
Can we do another one of the problems up above?
Sure. Let's do number 3. So we want to get the x's together, x squared plus 14x, and then we'll leave a space, right? The y's, so we have y squared minus 12y plus a little space. And then plus 4, I want to get that to the other side, so I'm going to subtract it. So we have minus 4. Now we take the middle number, divide it by 2, and square it. So that's going to be 49.
That's just the formula right there. That the 2 dividing it by 2, you always do that no matter what, right?
Yeah, that's the pattern that gets us that perfect square. So you always take this number, divide it by 2, and then square it. So that'll give you this number. And then we also have to add it to the other side. And then we take the y, which in this case is negative 12, divide that by 2, and then square it. So that's going to be 36. Okay. And from here, this is going to create the perfect square, which is x plus 7. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. That's where I know right away to get that 7. You can also just kind of, we practiced a lot of going. Say it again.
I said you broke up during that last part. You said you said it's 14. I mean, you said 7, and then it broke up after that.
Okay, it's 7 because we have the 14 divided by 2. That gives us the 7. We also practiced earlier on just kind of going back and forth between this form and that form. so we can see the patterns. So you can also think about however you made that connection before, it's the same connection here. And for y, we do the same thing. This is a minus, so it's going to be -6. And then on the other side, let's see what this is going to be. We have -4 plus 49 plus 36, so that's going to equal 81. Okay. 21 or 23. Let me check
Thank
it
you,
out.
thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Don't worry about those. We're not going to do any of these that have to do with the tangent or any of that. We're going to go as far as 13 and 14. So after that, don't worry about those. Cancel all that. So we're only going to be doing numbers 1 through 14. I'm going to let you start working on those on your own. 9 and 10, try those last. Don't worry about those. Basically, you have this circle here, and then it wants you to translate the circle and create a new circle. Feel free to try it if you'd like at the end, but it's not the most important thing that I want you to be able to do. For sure, everything else on this page you should be able to do. So give that a try on your own. We're going to stay on here until the end of class, and I'll answer questions as they come up. And then tomorrow we'll start ellipses. Yes, this will be turned into Schoology. It's an assignment, so you want to make sure you submit that. It's not due at the end of class. It's due tomorrow morning, but use your class time now to get it done. I'll be answering questions as they come up. Origin is 0, 0. Yes, the origin is the center 0, 0.